Before we begin, I want you to close your eyes and remember that time in your life where you had the most changes, where everything around you was just moving and moving, where nothing would hold still, and everything would just be folding and changing. You can open your eyes now. This is the feeling I've experienced for the last year and a half of my life, but I realized that though I felt like everything outside of me was changing, mostly everything inside of me was changing. It wasn't the place that was changing, it was me who was changing. Last year, for those of you who don't know, I went to a boarding school, and it was a wonderful experience for me in so many ways. In my boarding school, being in my comfort zone was no longer an option for me. From being a person who was normally in her comfort zone, or a little in her challenge zone, I entered a new environment that made me challenge myself much more. Something that was very different in my boarding school were the art classes. Over there, I took ceramics, photography, darkroom photography, fiber, jewelry, 3D building, acting, cooking, and many more. I realized that before I went to boarding school, I used to be a person that I would only do things that I knew I was going to do well. But in my boarding school, I started to try new things and enter competitions where I didn't know what was going to happen. Towards the end of the year, I entered a photography competition, and I won in the category of 6th through 9th grade. I was really nervous about entering this competition, but my photography teacher told me to try, and I figured that at least I should try because I wouldn't lose anything in trying. So the day before the competition, I went to drop off my art along with others of my school to the competition, and I saw what other kids from other schools had entered, and there were some really cool things. And after this, I wasn't really hoping for anything. The next day, I went to the competition, and then I didn't even go look at my photograph. I just went to congratulate other of my friends that had won in other categories. Suddenly, one of my friends came up to me and congratulated me and told me that I had won in the category of 6th through 9th grade. And I was very proud of myself. After this experience, I started to challenge myself much more. In the weekends in my boarding school, something that we do is that we would go hiking in the Adirondacks. And something that they do is that you earn something called mountain cake miles. It is something that you earn for every mile that you hike, but it is called a mountain cake mile because it also counts for elevation. At the end of the year, the students with the top 12 most mountain cake miles won a prize. And there was a competition to design the t-shirt that the hikers win. And I submitted my design, and I also won. Then I got 9th place in the Dirty Dozen, which is what they call the top 12. I got 9th place with about 140 kilometers. This is a really big change for me because I'm not really a hiker, but this really motivated me. I even did one hike in one day that was 37 kilometers, which is about walking from here to Antigua by foot, more or less. I realized that if I didn't try, I would have never even know what could have happened, and I could have missed out on really big opportunities. Since I came back to Acton, I started to think that everything around me had changed. But I realize now that nothing really did. Maybe just the people in my class, but the hard work and the discipline just got better. In my boarding school, I used to do pre-algebra, and though it was very, very easy for me, when I came back, I had forgotten most of Algebra 1. I feel like it's really good that I came back because now I get to challenge myself again. And I'm currently about to finish Algebra 1. And after this, I will be doing high school geometry. Now that I came back, I used to be the one who pushed others, but now others are pushing me with their hard work and discipline to become better. In my boarding school, my English grammar improved a lot. But I felt like my Spanish grammar was kind of forgotten. But now that we changed the program we do Spanish grammar in, I feel like this will really help me improve my Spanish grammar. And I feel like it slowly has already helped me improve. In reading, in my boarding school, I read 14 books in 9 months. And though there were definitely some books that were easier than others, this is still a big change for me because I don't really like to read that much. And if I like a book, I have a really bad habit of not reading constantly. Over there, I used to read 1 hour and a half daily. And now that I came back, I've had a hard time creating this habit again. But I set the goal to myself to read 45 minutes daily so that I can start slowly creating this habit again. This past month and a half, I read Fahrenheit 451, and I'm currently about to finish Pride and Prejudice. I realized that having a daily habit of reading can help you read more than you ever imagined, and it's definitely a habit I want to keep up. In my leadership, I feel like I improved a lot because before I went to my boarding school, I used to be one of the youngest people in Agora, and I would never speak in dialogues unless I was called up. Unless I was put on the spot, and let's just say I was definitely not a leader. When I came back, I decided to nominate myself for council, even though I got to the last round of voting, I didn't win. But I realized that the Katina from before going to boarding school would have never even tried to be council, but this Katina tried, and I learned that I needed to step up more in my leadership skills. And I feel like I did because the last 2 weeks, there was another nomination to be the backup council, and I did win. This past semester, I decided to take on the challenge of passing to Launchpad. I feel like Launchpad will help me, it's a studio that will help me be on the right track to choose a career, and it will also help me keep growing as a human and keep discovering myself. I am very excited because in Journey course, I am taking a course in Amazon businesses. It is not a how to put your product on Amazon course. It is a course that helps you find what people are already looking for in Amazon, but that either the product isn't good quality or isn't exactly what people are looking for. It is a really cool course because it helps you find all of the data, and it also helps you be in contact with someone from China that can help you, that can help produce your product. If you're interested, it is called Jungle Scout. Outside of acting, I've had a hard time deciding what to do with my time. Before I went to boarding school, I used to do dance classes, but I wanted to try something new. So I went to spinning lessons with one of my friends, but she goes very early in the mornings. And let's just say I'm not a morning person. So I decided to go back to tennis lessons, but in a different place. And it has been really fun so far. After this whole year, I've learned that the biggest change wasn't the place I came back to. It was the person I came back as. And as F. Scott Fitzgerald said, it's a funny thing coming home. Nothing changes. Everything looks the same, feels the same, even smells the same. You realize that what's changed is you. Thank you.